Hey everyone, welcome to another deep dive, and today we're heading into the mountains.
Ooh, sounds exciting.
It is. We'll be focusing on the Mountain Gazelle, and our main source is an essay called The Mountain Gazelle, a symbol of elegance and resilience.
Okay, I'm intrigued already.
So think about this for a second. Have you ever imagined an antelope, right? Not just surviving, but thriving in these really rugged, mountainous environments?
It doesn't sound like the easiest place to make a living, that's for sure.
Right. But the mountain gazelle not only lives there, it uses the terrain to its advantage, even to outsmart predators.
Whoa. Okay, now I'm really interested.
Yeah, they're pretty amazing.
I'm already picturing like some epic chase scene on a mountainside, the gazelle just leaping from rock to rock.
That's a great visual. And it's not too far off, honestly. The essay talks about how they're incredibly agile.
Makes sense. What do these mountain gazelles even look like? Are we talking like massive creatures?
Actually, they're not that big. The essay describes them as about the size of a large dog.
Oh, okay, so not tiny, but definitely not massive either.
Right. Kind of a nice medium size, I guess. They have this sleek, sandy brown coat with a white belly.
A classic gazelle look, it sounds like.
Yeah, and there's this really distinctive dark stripe that runs along their side, too.
Oh, I like that. A little extra flair.
Definitely adds to their elegance.
Yeah.
And of course, we can't forget about the horns.
Right. Gotta have the horns.
Especially on the males, those horns can get pretty impressive, like up to 30 centimeters long.
Wow. That's quite the statement piece.
Yeah, it definitely adds to their presence. Speaking of presence, did you know they're found in places like Israel, Palestine, Jordan, Saudi Arabia?
Oh, wow. So across a pretty wide range.
Yeah, and even parts of Syria and Turkey, too.
Interesting. That's definitely not the flat, grassy plains we usually picture when we think gazelle.
Exactly. These guys are built for the mountains, like the steep slopes and rocky outcrops.
Well, that explains the agility. Must make them pretty hard to catch.
Exactly. Those predators have got to work for it.
So how do they survive in such a tough landscape? What do they even eat up there?
Well, they're herbivores, so their diet mainly consists of, tough grasses, shrubs, and leaves. Stuff you'd find in those arid environments.
I was just thinking water must be scarce in those places. Do they find enough to drink?
That's the really fascinating part. They get most of their water from the plants they eat.
Wait, seriously, they get enough moisture from just those tough desert plants?
Yeah, pretty much. They've got this, specialized digestive system that lets them extract every little bit of moisture available.
That is incredible. Talk about adaptation. I mean, think about it. Scorching sun, rocky terrain.
And these gazelles are basically dancing across the landscape, no problem.
Nature's just amazing, isn't it? Finding ways to thrive in the most unlikely places.
It really is. It's all about adaptation and resilience, right? But it makes you wonder, how do they navigate the social side of things in this rugged environment? Are they loners, or do they hang out in groups?
That's a good question. It's actually kind of a mix, depending on who we're talking about. The males, they're like the lone wolves of the mountains. They tend to be solitary and very territorial, especially during mating season.
Oh, so I'm picturing, fierce standoffs on the mountaintops, the males guarding their territory.
They're fiercely protective of their little patch of land. But the females, and they're young, they're all about safety in numbers. They form these herds, for protection and support.
Okay, so a little gazelle drama playing out on those slopes, huh? The males battling it out, the females sticking together for safety.
Exactly. And those impressive horns we talked about? They play a key role in all this drama.
Oh, I bet. Not just for looks, right?
Not at all. Males use them for all sorts of things, like showing off their dominance to other males, trying to impress the females, and then, of course, settling disputes.
So the ultimate status symbol.
Pretty much. It's all part of this whole natural selection thing,
Yeah.
making sure the strongest, most adaptable genes get passed on to the next generation.
Survival of the fittest, mountain gazelle style.
You could say that.
Those horns are like multi-purpose tools for the males, huh?
You could say that. But sadly, even with all their adaptations and skills, they're facing some serious challenges.
Oh, right, right. The essay did mention some threats to the mountain gazelle.
Yeah, they're actually classified as vulnerable right now.
Oh, wow, vulnerable. That's not good.
Not good at all. One of the biggest problems is habitat loss.
Yeah, I can see how that would be a problem with all the development and everything.
Exactly. As humans expand, their habitat shrinks and gets fragmented.
So it's harder for them to find food, water, all that.
Exactly. And it disrupts their migration patterns, too.
Oh, right. And that makes them easier targets for predators, right?
Unfortunately, yeah. It's like a domino effect.
Man, that's tough. Are there any other threats they're dealing with?
Well, illegal hunting is still a problem, though thankfully less common than before.
Okay, that's something at least.
And of course, natural predators are always a factor. Wolves, jackals, they're all part of the ecosystem.
So the gazelles have to be constantly on guard.
Pretty much. It's a constant struggle for survival.
It makes you realize how resilient they truly are.
Yeah,
Still thriving despite all that.
absolutely. But it also shows how important conservation efforts are.
What kind of efforts are being made to help them?
Well, protecting their habitat is crucial. That means managing development responsibly and stopping illegal hunting.
Yeah, makes sense. We need to protect what's left.
Exactly. And it's not just about protecting a species, it's about preserving a piece of culture, too.
Oh, right. You mentioned earlier about the mountain gazelle in Middle Eastern culture.
Yeah, it's not just a symbol of resilience, it's been featured in art, literature, even religious texts.
Wow, for centuries. That's incredible. What kind of imagery are we talking about?
Think of beauty, grace, speed, even spiritual purity.
It's like woven into the fabric of their culture.
Exactly. It's in ancient mosaics, poetry, even the Bible. It shows a deep connection between humans and gazelles.
So protecting them isn't just about ecology, it's about preserving a cultural legacy.
You got it. It's about safeguarding something that holds deep meaning for people in the region.
It makes you think about how our relationship with gazelles has evolved over time.
For sure. There's reverence, but also, unfortunately, exploitation. It's a complex dynamic.
A reminder that conservation needs to be balanced, considering both ecological and cultural perspectives.
Absolutely. It needs to involve local communities, respect traditions, and promote sustainable practices.
Finding a way for humans and gazelles to coexist harmoniously.
Exactly. And that starts with understanding their ecology, cultural significance, and the threats they face.
So we can develop the best strategies to protect them.
Precisely. It's all connected.
So we've talked about the challenges, but what can we actually do to help? Like, what can our listeners do to make a difference?
Well, the first step is always awareness, right?
So just by tuning in and learning about all this, our listeners are on the right track.
Absolutely. Knowledge is power. But if you want to take it a step further, supporting organizations that are working to protect the mountain gazelle is huge.
Okay, so donations would be helpful.
Definitely. But it's not just about money. A lot of these organizations have volunteer opportunities, too.
Oh, interesting. Like what kind of volunteer work?
It really varies. Some help with research, others focus on community outreach, or even just administrative stuff.
So there's something for everyone, even if you can't travel to the region.
Exactly. Every little bit helps. And honestly, just spreading the word about their work and the challenges these gazelles face is a huge contribution.
It's all about raising awareness, right?
Yeah.
Getting more people involved.
Right. The more people who know and care, the better.
Now, for those who want to get more hands-on, are there other options?
Yeah, absolutely. There are citizen science projects that anyone can participate in.
Oh, cool. What do those involve?
Well, some projects might focus on monitoring gazelle populations, tracking their movements, or gathering data on their habitat.
So even if you're not a scientist, you can still contribute to actual research.
Exactly. And it's a great way to get involved and learn more at the same time.
Now, what about if you're planning a trip to the region? Anything travelers can do to be more responsible.
Definitely. When choosing tour operators, look for those who prioritize sustainable practices and respect protected areas.
Makes sense. Support businesses that are doing things the right way.
Exactly. And of course, avoid buying any products made from endangered species.
Right, that's crucial. We have to be mindful of our impact.
Absolutely. Every choice we make can have an effect.
And what about those who can't travel to the region? Can they still make a difference from afar?
Definitely. Supporting policies that promote sustainable development and conservation is huge.
So like contacting our elected officials, supporting legislation, things like that.
Exactly. Make your voice heard. Show that you care about these issues.
It's a reminder that we all have a role to play, no matter where we are.
Right. It's about collective action. And it's not just about the mountain gazelle. It's about recognizing how everything is connected in the natural world.
This has been an incredible deep dive, honestly. I feel like we've learned so much about these amazing creatures.
Me too. It's been a pleasure sharing my knowledge and passion for the mountain gazelle.
And hopefully our listeners are feeling inspired to take action in whatever way they can.
I hope so too. Every little bit counts.
Before we go, I want to leave everyone with one final thought. Imagine if the mountain gazelle could talk. What would it say to us?
Oh, that's a good one. Maybe a reminder to appreciate the beauty and fragility of nature.
Yeah, to respect the balance of things.
And to protect not just the mountain gazelle, but all the amazing creatures that share our planet.
It's a message worth remembering. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of the mountain gazelle. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep advocating for our planet.